Today, you can find people who have never used the internet or a mobile phone. You can even find people who cannot read or write. It's a rarity, but it's a fact. Yet, at the same time, it's hard to find someone who has never worn Adidas clothing or shoes, let alone someone who has never heard of the brand. And this is not surprising, as the German brand is now one of the leaders among sportswear manufacturers. The company produces clothing, footwear, and accessories not only for sports but also for everyday life. Today, the Adidas Corporation includes brands such as Reebok, Rockport, and TaylorMade Golf. But where did this company come from? Who created it? How did it all begin? And how did it become one of the most recognizable brands in the world? That is what we will talk about today. The Adidas company was officially founded in 1949, but its history began long before that. Adolf Adi Dassler was born into a modest family on November 3, 1900, in a small town in Bavaria. His father was a shoemaker, and his mother was a laundress. With few prospects, Adolf started helping his father from a young age and soon became a shoemaker himself. The family lived poorly, barely making ends meet. Therefore, in 1920, the Dassler family decided to start their own shoemaking business. Adolf, who was only 20 years old at the time, took over the management of the company and was soon joined by his brother, Rudolf. Their friends called them Adi and Rudi. The Dassler brothers' small shoe factory, if you could call it that, produced orthopedic shoes for athletes and house slippers. It was located in the laundry room where their mother worked. The business grew slowly. The slippers were in demand, but it was just one of hundreds of small shoe workshops in Germany alone. Someone else might have been satisfied with what they had, but Adi was obsessed with developing the company. After many experiments that often ended in failure, he managed to create a product that was a breakthrough in footwear. In 1925, Adolf created the world's first football boots with studded soles, which became the factory's main product a year later. His partners were ordinary blacksmiths, the Zelline brothers, who made those very studs in their workshop. Demand for the Dassler brothers' shoes grew every day, leading to the purchase of their own factory building in 1928. Together with Joseph Weitzer, the Dasslers developed and patented a new model of studded footwear that truly made the factory famous. But how do you get champions to wear your shoes? You simply give them to the athletes. At the 1936 Olympic Games in Berlin, American runner Jesse Owens, wearing Dassler shoes, won for gold medals and set 5 world records. His shoes featured the Dasslers' distinctive mark for the first time, 2 stripes. After this event, many athletes chose the brand's boots for their Olympic performances, all thanks to the innovative solutions for the time. Who would have thought that simply screwing studs onto a sole would be enough to make the world talk about you? By the end of the 1930s, sales at the Dassler brothers' factory exceeded 400,000 German marks, about $100,000, and in 1938, a second Dassler factory opened. Their plants were producing thousands of pairs of shoes daily, and sales grew at an incredible rate until World War I. Although both Dassler brothers were members of the Nazi Party, their factories were confiscated by the Nazis, and the brothers themselves were sent to the front. At one of the factories, the Nazis even tried to set up production of anti-tank grenade launchers, but the factory equipment was unsuitable for this. Therefore, Adolf was recalled from the army after just 1 year to produce training shoes for German soldiers. After World War I, the Bavarian town of Herzogenaurach, where the brothers' second factory was located, fell into the American zone of occupation. The older brother, Rudolf, was accused of belonging to the SS and sent to a prisoner of war camp. Adolf was also a member of the Nazi Party, but as reparations, he sewed hockey skates for delivery to the USA. This saved his position and the business as a whole. As compensation for the skates, Dassler received decommissioned US Army equipment, tents, old baseball gloves, and other items. The family business had to be rebuilt almost from scratch. In 1946, after his release, Rudolf returned to the family business. The brothers started producing shoes again. But given the post-war situation in Germany, the lack of raw materials, and problems with international markets, they made a controversial but ultimately the only right decision. They began producing shoes from leftover military uniforms. They used everything they could find. For example, they made shoe soles from old tires of military vehicles. Hired workers were paid in goods, firewood, yarn, and other items. However, differing worldviews and visions for the company's future led to increasing arguments between the brothers. Their partnership could no longer continue as before, prompting them to split all their assets. Soon after their father's death, the brothers parted ways. Rudolf took the newer factory, and Adolf took the old one. They agreed never to use the name or symbolism of the family enterprise. Rudolf named his company Rudolf from Rudolf Dassler, which soon turned into Puma. Adolf's company became Adidas, a shortening of Adi Dassler. Thus, the once world-famous Dassler brand ceased to exist, and two new rival companies were born, Adidas and Puma, which we all know today. The brothers remained silent until the end of their days about the reasons for their quarrel. But what is most surprising is that after the split, they never spoke to each other again for the rest of their lives, and their companies became each other's fiercest competitors. Adolf's company quickly gained popularity. High quality and innovation helped Adidas become one of the leading sports brands. On August 18, 1949, Adolf took the two stripes from the Dassler emblem, added a third, and patented the resulting symbol of Adidas. Starting in 1952, the company began producing other goods under the Adidas brand. Its first attempt to diversify its range was the production of sports bags. Although footwear remained the main product, Adi found a partner to handle clothing production. He was the owner of a textile factory, Willy Seltenreich, whom Adi commissioned to make 1,000 tracksuits with 3 stripes along the sleeves. The merchandise sold out instantly, and the partners liked each other so much that Seltenreich soon began working almost exclusively for Adidas. At the 1954 FIFA World Cup in Bern, wearing Adidas, the West German national football team became world champions for the first time. This was also aided by another Adidas innovation: removable studs on the boots. Soon after this victory, sales of Adidas boots increased from 800 to 2,000 pairs per day. In 1956, Adidas even received official permission to advertise at the Olympic Games in Melbourne. Also that year, Adidas signed its first licensing agreement with the Norwegian factory in Vik, and soon Adidas production began in France as well. In the late 1950s, Adidas entered this market, taking advantage of the growing popularity of sports and the lack of serious competitors at the time. By the end of the 1970s, the company already had 24 factories in 17 countries. It was selling about 200,000 pairs of shoes per day, as well as clothing, balls, and bags. In 1970, the Adidas Telstar ball became the official match ball of the FIFA World Cup in Mexico. In 1972, Adidas became the title sponsor of the Olympic Games in Munich, and the West German national football team became European champions. That same year, the famous Adidas trefoil logo was introduced. The 3 leaves symbolized the company's presence on 3 continents. In 1974, wearing Adidas boots, German football players became world champions for the second time. At the 1976 Olympic Games, athletes equipped by Adidas won 75 gold, 86 silver, and 88 bronze medals. This record remains unbroken to this day. On September 6, 1978, Adolf Dassler died at the age of 77. Management of the company passed to his widow. With the founder's death, the company entered a severe crisis, primarily caused by the emergence of serious competitors Nike and Reebok. In the 1980s, these brands launched aggressive advertising campaigns in North America. By the end of the decade, they held 50% of the sports shoe market, while Adidas's share had shrunk to a critical 3%. Adolf Dassler's heirs did not remain at the helm of the company for long. He died in 1984, and Horst Dassler, Adolf and son, died in 1987. In 1989, the struggling enterprise was sold for just 440 million German marks to French businessman Bernard Tapie, with the heirs retaining only a 20% stake. At this time, Adidas was on the verge of collapse. Interest in the brand was fading, and leadership in the sports market was already being divided between Nike and Reebok. However, the new owner could not improve the company's situation, and in 1993 he sold it. Shortly after, Tapie was declared bankrupt. The new owner of the company was a group of French investors, who appointed Robert Louis Dreyfus as CEO of Adidas. Under his leadership, a reorganization began. The marketing budget was significantly increased, and production was moved to Indonesia, China, and Thailand. Savings on cheap labor made the products competitive on the global market again. By 1995, profits had more than doubled compared to 1994. In 1997, the French company Salomon, a leading manufacturer of winter sports equipment, was acquired. Until 2005, the corporation was known as Adidas Salomon AG. This move allowed the group to become the world's second-largest manufacturer of sporting goods after Nike. increasing sales by 1.5 times, especially in the USA. In 1999, for the company's 50th anniversary, construction began on a new headquarters, and representative offices were opened in Japan, Turkey, and the Netherlands. In 2001, the formation of its own retail network began. The first two Adidas Originals stores were opened in Berlin and Tokyo, followed by one in New York in 2002. The company was gaining momentum again, and the brand was becoming more popular every year. In 2005, Adidas sold Salomon and, with the proceeds, in August 2005, bought 100% of its competitor Reebok International Limited for $3.8 billion. This acquisition allowed Adidas to increase its share of the crucial American sporting goods market to 20% and get closer to the market leader, Nike, which controls about 35%. Today, the Adidas Corporation has only two small-owned factories, one in Germany and one in the USA. All products are manufactured to order at 930 different factories, 71% of which are in Asia. In terms of footwear production, 97% of products are manufactured in Asia, including Vietnam, Indonesia, and China. In 2018 alone, 409 million pairs of shoes were produced. Footwear accounts for 58% of the company's total sales. Products are sold under two main brands, Adidas and Reebok. The sales volume ratio between them is 90% to 10%. At the end of 2018, the company employed 57,000 people. The company's average annual revenue is $24 billion, with a net profit of almost $1 billion annually. Adidas is the largest sponsor of sports teams and famous athletes worldwide. Several times, the beloved brand could have simply disappeared, gone bankrupt, and become history. Adolf Dassler always put commercial success second. His relentless love for sports came first. He was a very active man. At 75, he still played tennis and swam. One of his passions was designing shoes. He personally held many inventions, including football boots with replaceable studs. He managed the company's affairs until his death. The path to success was thorny and long. It was thanks to Adolf Dassler, an ordinary young cobbler from a provincial town, that this global giant came into being.